Hi, I'm Frank Spillers with Rural Community Solutions, and I want to thank you all for coming and just really appreciate you taking the time out of your morning to do this. This is a workshop that we offer to classes, we offer to businesses, we offer to individuals. Mostly we have done this and we produced this, we wrote this actually for early care and education providers, those heroes, those professionals that take care of all of our kids while we work. And that they're an integral part of the workforce, and we just really appreciate them. Some of them are still working now. They're taking kids, so our frontline people can work, and our first responders, our healthcare workers, they can work. And early care and education professionals are taking care of their little kids because the 0 to the first 2,000 days are so important in a little person's developmental stage. It's creating the environment for them to get along, for them to be for them to grow up is extremely important. So stress and how do we handle this stress is all about that and creating what we need to do. So we want to thank you for coming and just enjoy what you're going to be doing. We want to define life's defining moments as defining moments that are those moments that have an impact on your life and determine all your subsequent related occurrences. So that they can be good, they can be bad, it can be positive life defining moments such as a birth of a child or a birthday, or you got a present, or you fell in love. That's a defining moment. That's positive, hopefully positive. Or it can be negative. It can be something that caused PTSD. It can be something that caused you got fired from a job, or somebody said something to you way back when. We're going to be going through those, but all those are life-defining moments because they stick with us and they create an emotion. What we're going to learn today is that getting rid of that emotion is so important to getting rid of that stress on your body, so your body can start to heal itself. So there's 3 things I want you to do today. I want you to learn something new, and then if it's helpful for you on your body, then act it and practice it. So you learn it and then you start practicing it. And then once you practice it and you get it down, turn and teach it to somebody else, because that's so important. This is how habits are created. We learn something, we act upon it, or we practice it over and over and over again. And then we teach it. And what that does is it ingrains us into a neuron connection, which we'll talk about later on in the workshop, the neuron connection, but that creates a habit and it creates who you are. It creates your self-concept. So when you learn something, I want you to learn something today. I want you to practice it, and then I want you to pass it on to somebody else to teach it. But one of the questions that I want you to become a habit, to do this needs to become a habit, is to have this question of how will this decision, any decision that you make during the day, and even take this to meetings, take this to your city council, take this to your county supervisors, take elected officials, anything that you can do to grow your community. I want you to, any meeting that you're at, even within your community, I want you to ask this question: how will this decision that we make right now, how will this decision affect children? Because it's not the environment that we want to create for ourselves right now. It's the environment that that is being created right now that our kids are growing up in. And remember, I said 0 to 6 is a formidable years of your brain development. When a child lives in that environment, that's the environment that they're understanding. That's the environment that they know. That's the environment they're absorbing within who they are, and it's creating who they are. We are creating environments for kids to grow up. And so now we want to say, how will our decision affect kids 25 years down the road? In other words, will this decision that we make right now, what type of environment are we creating for kids that are born just 2 weeks ago, like our 11th granddaughter 2 weeks ago, how are they growing up in that environment, and how are we making that environment? That question, how will this decision affect kids, is one of the most important questions that you will ask as a leader or as a community member or somebody that does something, or even just in your family. How will this decision affect children? A very important question that we have to continue to ask, because kids are not our future. Kids are our present. They're here right now, and we are building them. We are creating the environment to where they grow up in. As we go through this, I want you to take responsibility for what you create, because it's your words and your actions create the environment that you live in. And we're going to show you why that's true. And so you have to start focusing on what you want. You have to start focusing on what you have, not what you think you are missing. Because what you focus on, you get. You focus on, you create the environment you're living in, you create the circumstances that you're living in, you create everything by your thoughts, your words, and your actions. It's creating that environment that you're living in. And so you think about the environment, you think about your circumstances right now, and you think about how you respond to those circumstances. There's something that happens to you. Here's your response. And responsibility is this: you have the ability to respond in any way. So whatever happens to you, the circumstance that you're here, and your response, in between that time, there's a gap. So you have to mind the gap. You have to know how you're going to, you have to plan, how are you going to respond versus what happens to you. And it's that gap that creates your response. Some people have a small gap, and then boom, I mean, they do something and they fly off the handle. Other people have this large gap of, here's something that happened, I'm going to have a measured response. This is my response that I'm going to do. And so you have to think about your response that you're in there and mind that gap, because people are built, they're not born. We create that environment where people are built. We are building people. We are building their emotions. We create that environment. And so here's what happens to you. Here's your response to it. Your programming has a lot to do with how you respond to something, because you have a habit of responding in a certain way. You have a self-concept of how you're going to respond in a certain way. So mind that gap and figure out how you're going to respond to it. And when you wake up in the morning, ask yourself this question all the time, because we just think that, happiness comes at us. It's something from the outside. If this happens, I'm going to be happy. If that happens, I'm going to be happy. Happiness happens here. And so you have to ask yourself every morning, ask yourself this question: am I happy? Are you happy? If the answer is yes, you keep doing what you're doing, but share it with others, because you share happiness. If you're happy, it will expand to other people being happy. But if you wake up in the morning, you say, am I happy? And the answer is no, you have another question to ask, and that is, do you want to be happy? It's a decision. It's a decision you have to make. And if that answer is yes, I want to be happy, then you have to change something. You have to change something of what you're doing. You have to change your emotion. You have to change to be happy. So figure out your circumstances. Ask yourself, am I happy? If you're not happy, change what will make you happy. Change your circumstances. Now, there's always people like this too. Am I happy? No. Do I want to be happy? No. They actually say that. No, I don't want to be happy. You know what we call them? We call them crap magnets. No, I don't want to be happy, so I'm going to be a crap magnet. You know why we call them crap magnets? Because crap attracts crap. This is why happiness attracts happiness. Crap attracts crap on the other side also. You have that choice. Do you want to be happy? Be happy. You want to be a crap magnet? Be a crap magnet. Today, we're going to learn some techniques that are going to help you reduce and manage your stress. We're not going to We're not going to eliminate stress, because stress is good. There are some good stress in there, okay? But we want you to be mindful, and mindful is just being aware of the present moment. Mindful is being where you are and being mindful of the situation. You focus on your awareness, and you're acknowledging your feelings, you're acknowledging your thoughts and your bodies, everything that's going through. You're just acknowledging that they're there. You're mindful of what's going on within your body. That's why the question, am I happy, is so important, because you're thinking about your emotions. You're thinking about, am I happy? And you're creating an environment where it is. But we limit ourselves by our emotions, and we limit ourselves because of what happens within us. We worry. We start to criticize and blame others. I mean, the judgment that we do on others. We look at something and we start judging it. We criticize because it's our perception. It might not fit within us. And so we criticize what somebody else is doing, or we blame them. We blame somebody else for something that happened to us. And we deflect. We start to squabble or argue, or we're getting sick, or we're getting hurt. We're hiding and putting down our emotional feelings, some of those important feelings that we just want to hide. We don't want to deal with them. And also then we make promises and we don't keep our agreements. And that all affects how we limit ourselves from moving forward and becoming better. We all set goals. We should anyway. We're going to set some goals here today. And we set those goals, but how we limit ourselves is, well, we set this goal and then we say, well, I don't know how I don't know how I'm going to get there. I don't know how this is going to turn out. I don't know how. I don't know what. I don't know. That's worry. You're worrying about the future. It's the what ifs. What if this happens? What if that happens? What if this negative thing happens? It's that blame. What if they do this? I mean, they've always done this to me before. And I'm this way because they did this to me. That's the blame. We have to get through that. We have to accept and take the responsibility for our actions, for our emotions, and for our thoughts. And so what I want you to do right now is I want you to think about a future situation that you want to have. I want you to create a vision. The vision statement that we help people do is we create a vision of the picture we wish to create. A vision is a picture of the future we wish to create. Use all your emotions, use all of your five senses, what you see, what you hear, what you smell, what you taste, what you feel, all five of those senses in your vision statement. So to take that and say, this is what I would really like to create. This is how I want my life to look. And look at it. It can be long-term, it can be short-term. But create a statement that says, that here's the perfect picture of the future I want to create. And as you do that, then write this vision down with a statement of, I'm so happy and grateful that, and then say your vision statement. Now your vision statement and your goal statement are written in the form that it has already happened. I am so happy and grateful that. We are teaching millions of people how to manage their stress. I am so happy and grateful that people are smiling, people are feeling better, and people are treating others better in a growing community because of what we teach and how we taught. Those are vision statements, and we are helping millions of people. We are doing this. I'm so happy and grateful that we are doing this, or my situation is this. It's the picture. It's the picture of the future we wish to create. So I'm going to give you some time now. I'm going to give you about 5 minutes or so that I want you just to sit and think about that vision. Write your statement, work on your statement. I'm so happy and grateful that write your statement, and in 5 minutes we'll come back and we'll continue on. I'm so happy and grateful that. Okay, I hope people have their "I'm so happy and grateful that" statement made, and I want you just to look at that and focus on that. That's how we make goals, and that's how we teach communities and people to make goals. Is you start out with that "I'm so happy and grateful that," because if a goal should not have to be something that is um, hard to get to. It should not have to be something that makes you miserable. Goals should make you happy and grateful that you're doing that. And goals need to be written in such a way that they're positive and they're already done. That's the vision. That's the vision. A goal is a vision of the future you wish to create. And so we have the short-term and we have long-term goals, but they have to be written in such a way that it has already happened. So I'm so happy and grateful that, and what is your vision? The next thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to manage some stress with just meditation. This is one technique that you can use, and meditation is not a way. You have to sit a certain way. Meditation's not, you have to cross your legs in a certain way. Thank goodness. Otherwise, I'd never meditate because my legs, my legs don't cross the way they used to. Let's just put it that way. We'll just leave it right there. But, meditation is the mindfulness. Meditation is just thinking about the present. Meditation is concentrating on that "I'm so grateful, I'm so thankful and grateful and happy and grateful" statement, vision that you just created. And that is to focus on that without focusing on anything else. Meditation is the practice of quieting your mind. Just that chatter that goes on in your mind all the time. The meditation is just how do we quiet that a little bit to where we're focused on what we need to be focused on. That's all meditation is. You can meditate with your eyes closed. You can meditate with your eyes open. There's walking meditations. There are just sitting meditations. You can meditate while you do yoga. You can meditate while you're exercising at the Y. You can meditate any place and any time. I just would not recommend that you meditate with your eyes closed while you're driving down I-80. That probably would not be such a good idea, doing that. But you can pull over and meditate there. meditation studies are real interesting. There are classrooms of kindergartners that meditate. In fact, it was Gandhi, I believe, that said, maybe not Gandhi, but one said that if we started a meditation practice with kindergartners, every kindergartner today, if we started a meditation practice in 5 years, there would be peace all around the world. And so that is a powerful, powerful statement. And this is some way also that teachers calm down classrooms. So when you're working with kids, when you're working in a classroom, this is a way that you can calm those kids down. It's focusing on the moment, focus on your breathing, just in and out, in and out. So now what I want you to do, we're going to practice some of this technique. Remember, we learn it, act it, and then teach it. So it's part of those ways we can change ourselves. We learn it, act it, and teach it. We're going to think about the vision that you wrote, that I'm so happy and grateful that, and just say that over and over in your head. That's going to be your centering statement. I'm so happy and grateful that. Mine is, I'm so happy and grateful that you are all on here listening and you are all changing. And I'm so happy and grateful that I have a wonderful, wonderful relationship with my wife. And I'm so happy and grateful that we live in harmony and love in our household. And that's what I'm going to focus on, because that is the vision, that's the future, that's the current, but that's the future that I want. That's how I want to live. And so I'm going to be focusing on that, and we're going to just take some time. I'm going to put the music back on. We're going to take some time, and I want you to focus on your statement and focus on your breath. So right now, here comes some music. Okay. I want everybody just to sit comfortably. Take a deep breath in, a deep breath from your stomach. Okay. Just a real deep, as deep a breath as you can. Breathe in. Breathe in through your nose and hold it. And exhale through your mouth. Take another deep breath in through your nose. Hold it. And out through your mouth. Now just focus on your breathing. Just breathe normally in and out. when you're ready, just start to come back, feel your surroundings. And gently open your eyes. Take one big deep breath in through your nose. Hold it. And exhale. One of the things that we look at and that we teach is energy. Everything has energy. The things on your walls. There is the words that you use, the ideas that you have, the thoughts that go through your mind. Everything is energy. Because everything is energy, and we are expending this type of energy today, what I want to do, I want to just take a few minutes right now. And if you don't have it, I want you to go and get some water, because you need to hydrate through this whole process. This helps reduce some of your stress. It's being hydrated. And so we want to make sure that you stay hydrated through this whole process on there. So we'll go 2 minutes or 30 seconds to 1 minute and 30 seconds that we're going to do, and we will be back here. So go get some water and let's take a short water break. Ready? Go. There we go. You guys are quick. Good job. Okay, so I want to get back to this energy, because everything that we look at, everything that's on our walls, that all contributes to our feeling. That all contributes to our emotion. And so, if you would ever come into our house, and there's some of you that have, you would see nothing but paper all over the wall. I mean, we have vision statements, and we have goals. We've got prayers up on our walls. And Jay, for you, I have a Nebraska football hanging on my wall, just to remember, go Big Red. That's that's my stress management for the football season. No, that's I can't even say that. I won't go down that road. However, but books and the things that you read, the food that you eat, all contributes to the energy. And this is why stress management is more about controlling what your thoughts are, but also controlling what you eat, controlling your nutrition. It's a mind-body connection. And what you think is food for your mind, and what you eat is food for your body. And they both have to be positive. They both have to have that good energy in them. So you need that balance of good thoughts and of good food. That is so important, because your gut feeds your mind, and your mind feeds your gut. There's that system that goes, and that's just the way we are. Drinks are energy, thoughts are energy, and when in a live workshop, we'll do muscle testing with somebody will bring in a pop into the workshop, and what I'll do is I will test their strength. I'll do a muscle test on them with their pop. You can try this with your pop up to your chest. And then have somebody or you muscle test yourself on that, and then take some water, and the water molecules, and if you even put love words on your water bottle, that affects the molecules in the water. There's I'm not going to go into that, but there's experiments out there that you can watch of water molecules and the words that we use. But you take this water and you hold it up, and then you do the muscle test. And in the workshops, I can prove that pop has a lower energy value than water does. And so the stuff that we ingest, the low energy that we put in there, affects our body. And this is how it works. This is what I call the vibration cloud. This is everything that we live in the environment. The environment is everything around us. It's what you're looking at, what you're feeling, everything that's coming in comes in through your 5 senses. And those senses are, you experience your environment by what you see, what you feel, what you taste, what you see, and what you smell. Is that the 5? Did I get it right? Okay. Those are your 5 senses. Those senses then come into your mind. Now I want everybody that you can, and I can see some of you, so but point to your mind. Where's your mind? Everyone point to your mind. Okay. Yep. All right. Now those of you that pointed to your head, that's your brain. Okay, that's your brain. That's not really your mind. Your mind is your brain in action. Your brain in action is what you think about, but also your emotions controlled to what you're thinking about and what your brain is doing. So your brain is controlling your movements, is controlling and firing of those thoughts. But also you are feeling, it's that emotion, and those emotions are what we're going to be talking about now. But in your mind, and then your mind, it goes into your body. Those emotions and the thought of your mind go into your body, and then your body, it all goes into your cells. So this is the system, and this is how it affects our energy system, and this is how it affects stress affects our wellness also, because it does go physically into the cells. The cells then go into the proteins then contribute to our energy, and the energy is the vibrations, and the vibrations which go back out into the environment that we're in, the atmosphere and the environment that we're living. And because it goes out back into the environment, it comes back through our senses, and that is a cycle. This is why crap attracts crap, is as you sense your environment, that creates the emotion, it goes into your body, it creates the cells, it creates the protein, creates the energy back out, and that is that vibration that we feel. And that's where stress is created, is the thought after thought after thought of how it affects our body. Now here is from AARP. This is stress by the numbers that I want to just go over. Now these numbers are going to be huge. They're going to grow exponentially because of what we're dealing with in our environment today. But on the average of a day, If we just took last month, this is what the environment looked like: $300 billion of cost to businesses due to employee stress because of loss of time. I can't show up. I need a mental day. Those types of things that costs to American businesses. That adds to the bottom line of goods and services that you're paying for. 40% of Americans say they lie awake at night because of stress. 70% of the Americans are stressed out about work. 76% of us boomers are worried about money, and 52% of Americans are worried about their health. Now I would put up that about 98.9% of Americans are worried about their health or worried about somebody's health. So you can see it's a stress of numbers that are going up. Now the stress goes into your mind, right? It goes into your mind, and this is what happens here on this cycle. Here is the environment, senses, mind goes into it. But this is what happens within your brain. These are neurons, and the neurons have connections. The neurons in your brain don't really connect. They just almost touch. There's a very, very small space in between neurons. But there's an electrical charge between two neurons, and that electrical charge then is the energy system which you have. So your thought is energy. The way that you move is energy. Thinking about your left toe right now is energy, and that is creating a firing mechanism within that limbic system here, or that within your neural pathways in your brain. Every thought, every action, every movement that you have creates this energy system right here. It fires. It fires. Now, here's why it's really important that we focus on early care and education, is because between the ages of a child of the third trimester, even before they're born, a child of the third trimester up to the age of 6, these neurons in a baby's brain, these neurons are connecting at a rate of 700 per second. 700 per second. And so they're having billions and billions and billions of these connections. And what they're doing is absorbing the environment. They are learning about their environment by their experience through their 5 senses. It doesn't matter what's around them. It doesn't matter who's teaching them. That's what they're learning, whatever there is around them. So our neurons then are connected at an early age. And the more that we practice something, the more that we feel something, the stronger that neuron is. And this is where habits come in, because this is why it's hard to change a habit, is because we have learned something, we have practiced it, and we have taught it to other people to where it is a strong, strong connection. But what we have also learned is that we can unplug those connections. We can relearn things. And when we relearn them and refocus, it unplugs that neuron, the old neuron, and then we'll plug in a new one. That's why we have to practice new things, is to get a new connection because of neuroplasticity. And we can unplug the old habits and plug in new habits and practice them. And the way that we make that neuron strong is by teaching it to others, because then that ingrains it. It helps us because we're thinking about it all the time. Now, I mentioned something about the emotion that is attached to an event. That motion that's attached to the event goes into your limbic system of your brain, right here in your amygdala. The amygdala is a small walnut portion part of your brain to where your fight or flight syndrome comes from. This is where stress comes from right here. Stress comes from the emotion that you attach to your event. So you have your circumstance, you have the gap of how you respond to it, and you have the emotion that's attached to that response. And it's that emotion that goes into your amygdala, and that's where it stays. And that's what causes stress, because every time you think about that event, every time that you relive that event, no matter how long ago that event was, that emotion comes back up as if that event just happened. And so as you relive events into your amygdala, the sensory data is sent to the yeah, right here, you can read that. I'm having trouble now, right now here. And then that data, it goes to the amygdala and it sits there, right? And then the amygdala blocks slow thinking. That is the stress. That is not your critical thinking. That's not your analytical thinking. The amygdala is your emotional thinking, and that's what causes the fight or the flight. An event happens, and we either we react to that event on an emotional scale. When we start to react on an emotional scale and we hang on to that event, that stress event, the more that event and the emotion comes up, the longer impact that has on our body. So remember when, let me get back here. Remember when we were doing this cloud here of environment to the senses, down to the energy, down to the vibration, goes back to the atmosphere, and it creates a circle event that we have. That's what happens here. The impact of a stuck fight or flight response affects your body. It affects what happens in your body. So if you have something that scares you, if you have something that stresses you, and your blood pressure rises, the long-term effect of that is heart disease. So how do you control your blood pressure? How do you get that emotion of that event out of your system to where your blood pressure will start to go down? Your stress hormone rises. The more stress you're under, that hormone will rise. That's insomnia, addictions, weight gain. You know, with the cortisol that we have, that is the weight gain, and that's your stress hormone. Your digestive system slows. That will cause some intestinal problems that we might have. Growth and sex hormones fail. You have premature aging. So your immune system weakens. You get the infections and you can get the cancer. This is why reducing the negativity that goes into your mind and eating properly, the proper nutrition, eating kale smoothies. You want to you just putting that proper nutrition into your gut, that mind-body connection. It helps your immune system fight off those infections. It helps your immune system to fight off what might be coming. So eat healthy and think healthy. This is your best healthcare that you can do, is watching your emotions and watching what you eat. As we watch those emotions, and we get it out of our amygdala. We want to just let go of our emotions. Now, letting go of the emotions just doesn't happen overnight. That's pretty hard to do, because some of those emotions we like. Some of those emotions are habits right now of the habit of thinking what we will think. But we're going to teach and start talking about a concept to how that you can get those emotions out, and those emotions that we have in our limbic system also kind of create our self-concept, where we are. There we go. Our self-concept of, we have been told over the course of our lives of who we are, and we had labels put on us, and we then start reacting to other people's thoughts about us, and that creates who we are, our self-concept. So everything that we believe to be true then becomes our self-concept. We can either like ourselves or like something about ourselves or not like something about ourselves. But how do we change the view of who we are, of our self-concept? And that is accepting who you are and not who other people think you are, or not accepting the label that they put on us. And that's pretty hard. But let me go back to our environmental cloud and talk about the child. Talk about how we become who we become based upon the environment that we live in. This is us. We are individuals. We have a conscious mind and we have a subconscious mind. Now, our conscious mind, it goes only about 4% of what we think about is conscious. 4% of what we do is conscious thought. 96% is unconscious thought. Those are things that we just do by habit. We do without thinking, and we live within that environment. Remember the environmental cloud, and it comes through our 5 senses into our conscious mind. Now, before the age of ability to reason, and we assume, or in our workshops we ask people, and the more of the response is about the age 4 or 5. Think about the time and the age you were when your first memory occurred. How old were you when your first memory was there? Most people will say 3, 4, 5, right in that range on there. Kim says 4 on hers. And so as you think about when your age, when that first memory occurred, think about how old you were, 4, but then think about who was programming you before your conscious filtering mechanism came about. Now that filtering mechanism is, yes, I believe it. No, I don't. Yes, I believe this. No, I don't. That is the age of ability to reason. You can focus on what people are telling you. And that comes into your body, that creates your actions. Your actions get your results, and your result becomes your belief system. And that belief system then goes back out into the environment, and you live your belief. Now, what happens when you get all of these different voices going on of things that people told you of the past? Our family's on the wrong side of the tracks. You just aren't talented. You can't do that. It won't work. Why don't you be more like your brother or your sister? You need to have a real job. These are voices of our past that we're hanging on to that create an emotion with us. And how we think about the environment, how do we think about things, and what happens in these voices and these scripts that we replay in our mind over and over and over again, then become our self-concept. And that's who we see in the mirror all the time. That's our perception of who we see. So that self-sabotage is the behavior that creates a problems and interferes with that long-standing goal. So that I'm so happy and grateful that then becomes that will never happen, because that would make me happy, and I can't be happy. I don't know how to be happy. I don't deserve to be happy. Those are self-sabotaging things that happen to us that we need to start changing because of things that have happened in our past, things that we grew up in, the environment that we grew up in, the conditions that we're told, the conditions that people tell us now. That becomes the label that we wear, and that becomes the voice in our head. And some of those become the blocks of creating the environment that we want to have. So the hardest part about making that choice, the hardest part about making the change, is not making the same choices that you did the day before, okay? Because thoughts that you have 60 to 70,000 thoughts per day. 60 to 70,000 thoughts per day. Those are things that are going on in here that are constantly going on, that voice in your head. all those thoughts, your perception of who you are. 60 to 70,000 of those are going on per day. 90% of those are the same thoughts that you did the day before. Okay. When you think about this, the things the day before all the time, this is how you become who you become, because it becomes your actions get your beliefs get your results. That becomes the environment that you think of. So when you are thinking of 60 to 70,000 thoughts per day, that becomes your reality. Just because it's your reality, it creates that emotion. And that emotion then creates the system in your body that will either be a chronic pain, it can be a disease, it can be healthy. That creates the environment that your body then becomes. So sometimes we have those hidden barriers of feeling fundamentally flawed. If I improve, it's disloyal, or I feel like I'm abandoning somebody. I can't improve. I'm going to leave them behind. Believing that more success will be even a bigger burden than what you're going through now. And sometimes if I'm more successful than, say, my partner or a friend of mine or something like that, I might outshine them and make them feel bad. These are hidden barriers that we go through that sometimes stop us from creating our goal. And that creates that emotion, that creates our thought. And so all of this is connected and goes into our body that creates that emotion, that creates what we do. So the question that you have to ask yourself right now, are you committed? And committed is doing whatever it takes. If you're interested, and some of you just might be interested, and that's okay. Interested is doing whatever's convenient. But if you're really committed, you'll do whatever it takes to ask yourself this question: am I willing to increase the amount of time every day that I feel good inside myself? Am I willing to increase the amount of time every day that I feel good inside of, that I feel good about myself? Am I willing to increase the amount of time that my whole life goes well? And am I willing to feel good and have my whole life go well all the time? How many of you, and you can just sit there and think about and answer yourself this question: my life is good sometimes. I have times when my life goes really, really good. But I know there's going to be times where my life is not going good. Are you willing to commit to a life that goes good all the time? And do you think that's possible to happen? That's a question. There's many people out there that say, oh, that's not reality. That's your reality. That might not be mine. That's your reality. So those areas that you have to assess of how come you believe the way that you believe is in childhood memories. You have to have associated beliefs. What fears do you have? What's controlling your emotions? What are some of your memories that you have of the past that might be painful? Some of the depression that maybe you have gone through, some of those, eating. How are you eating? Do you stress eat? Do you increase the amount that you eat because of how you feel? Your relationships, are your relationships strong or are your relationships stressed? Some of those places, these are areas that do cause stress in your life. Now think about what is causing stress in your life right now. Just take a little bit of time and think about, where is that stress coming from? Now, when you have identified where that stress is coming from, I want you to give it a number. think about the stressful event, and then give that a number between 0 and 10. 10 being it is just absolutely driving you nuts. I mean, you're just out of your skin, full of stress. Think about that event. And what we're going to be teaching you now is called emotional freedom technique. This is a technique that Kim and I have been using for about 8 or 9 years right now. There's different people that teach this. We've used this successfully in classrooms. We've used this successfully for ourselves, in our relationship, in our bodies to heal things. And this is what we do. Now there's different people out there that you can get this information from. Two of the people that we follow, one is Nick Ortner from the tappingsolution.com. The other one is Brad Yates. I think that's bradyates.com or something like that. If you Google Brad Yates, he's got YouTube's on a whole bunch of different emotions that you can follow, and you can follow along with that. Emotional freedom technique will go back. Let's go back to the amygdala here, because the emotions are caught in the fight or flight syndrome here, and emotions are caught into your limbic system, into your amygdala. What the tapping, an emotional freedom technique, does is it releases that emotion. It releases the hold that emotion has on you, and gets the emotion out to where then you can critically think critically about and think about what that's going on. Okay, so this is why you give it a number. You're thinking about that stressful event. You give it a number between 0 and 7. And then we're going to go through different points on your body. These are called acupressure points. These are meridian points. You have about anywhere approximately 400 different meridian points on your body. I believe it's about 380, and they mirror each other, so they go up and down both sides of your body. This is where they do acupuncture. The needles will go for acupuncture. We're not going to poke needles into you. We're going to have you tap. We're going to have you do acupressure on there. And there's nine different points. There is the center of the eyebrow here, the side of the eye, right on your side of your eye, and in front of your temple, under your eye, and this can be on both sides, under your nose, right here, on there, on your chin, right in that curvy spot right there in your chin. Then you have your collarbone here, just tap. You have under the arm, right here, about women where your bra strap is, and men where yours would be if you wore one, right here. And then the top of your head on there, we call that, and the crown point, the top of your head as you do that. And then you have one other spot, and that's just the side of your hand, this fleshy part on the side of your hand. And this is where we're going to be working on with the first. And so what I would have, you have your stressful event, and I'm going to lead you, and Kim will help. We'll lead you through the tapping points. And this is stuff that you can do. Now, the worst that's going to happen to you when you do this is nothing. That's the worst that can happen. The best is that you might feel better. Yeah, on there. It's all determines about how you come into this. Mindset is everything with this. We've done this in workshops to where people won't even do it because they just don't believe in it. They just don't have, which is fine. Everything isn't for everybody. These are just techniques that we have taught, These are techniques that we use to help reduce our stress in our lives that we want to share. So I want people now just to sit or get comfortable. Get comfortable. Take a deep breath. Breathe in. Breathe in. And exhale. Take another breath deeply. Breathe in through your nose. And exhale through your mouth. I want you to tap lightly on the side of your hand and that fleshy part of your hand. And I want you to repeat everything that I say. Just mirror my words. And you can say it out loud, or you can just think it. But it is a thought that's going into your head, and I want you just to repeat, just say, even though I'm feeling stressed, and I don't know what I'm going to do about this situation, I love and completely honor who I am. I want you to stop just for a minute, because I want to, when we work with our clients on coaching, and we're doing this one-on-one with our clients, which we do, there are some of our clients that, as we say, I completely love and honor myself, they get stuck. They can't say that because they don't believe that they deserve love. And that's the hardest barrier that they're trying to get over. And so you can modify that and just say that I completely understand why I feel this way. I'm okay. I might not feel that I love myself right now, but I will get there. But I completely honor the way I feel. And that's important that you're looking at doing that, that you accept your feelings. You have to accept who you are. You have to accept the feelings that you're going through right now, okay? So that's okay. Go ahead and let's continue to start tapping again on the side of your hand. And even though I have this stressful situation going on, I love and honor who I am. One more time, even though I feel this stress, I don't know how I'm going to deal with it. And I don't know if I can even let it go. I love and honor who I am. Now, let's go through the tapping points. And everybody tap on your eyebrows, right in between, and just repeat the statement, I'm in stress. Let's move to the side of the eye, that stressful situation that I'm thinking about. Under the eye, I feel so stressed. Under the nose, all this stress I'm holding in my body. The chin point, the stress is affecting who I am. Collarbone, I feel so stressful, it hurts. Under the arm, I'm just holding all this stress. Top of the head. This stress is causing my pain. Eyebrow point. I can feel this pain and I've identified where it's at. Side of the eye. And I know that this stress is causing that pain. Under the eye. And it hurts. Under the nose. That stress hurts. On your chin. That event in my life happened. Collarbone, and I feel that event every time I think about it. Under the arm, and it hurts. Top of the head, I feel so stressed. Eyebrow. But what if I could have let that emotion go? Side of the eye. Is that emotion doing me any good? Under the eye. I can let that emotion go. Under the nose. I don't have to hang on to that emotion anymore. In the chin plate. I can let go of that emotion. Collarbone. And heal my body. Under the arm. That emotion has served me well. Top of the head. And I thank that emotion for protecting me. Eyebrow point. But now it's time to let it go. Side of the eye. So now I'm going to release that emotion. Under the eye. I give it permission to leave. Under the nose. I release that emotion. Chin point. Thank you for serving me. Collarbone. I can feel you leaving right now. Under the eye. Under the arm. Under the arm. I release. Top of the head. I'm feeling better and better as I release that emotion. It is gone. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. Drink some water. I just want to honor you guys of how you're doing, and this is hard work. Now, the tapping and the emotional freedom technique, you could see the sequence that we went through. But I want you to think about your emotions and what have happened as a onion, because as you're tapping, what's going to happen is you're going to peel back an onion skin each time that you think about something. So as you're tapping, you can stop and you can write down another emotion that might come up, another event that you might, because remember that you have a conscious mind, you have a subconscious mind. There are things in our subconscious mind that we have held subconsciously. We have tapped them down to where we don't want that. We don't want to think about it anymore. We don't want to feel that way anymore. We're just going to put it in this dark room, shut the door, lock it, throw away the key, and never have it come out. The thing about what happens, though, is it's always there. And so as you're doing this tapping, you are peeling back onion skins and getting to the core of what's happening. Tapping, you tap on everything. I'll sit in church and I will tap. There's a point on your fingernails. If you look at your hand and you look at the inside of your fingernail that is closest to your heart, on all of your fingers except your ring finger, but your thumb, your index, your middle, and your pinky all have a meridian point, and it's right down in the bottom, what I would call the southeast corner of, if your fingernail is a map, look at the southeast corner, and that's your meridian point. That's your, and so when you're just tapping, you can do this under the table. You can tap like this, and tap, because as you're listening to people, you're thinking about what they're saying, and you have an emotion attached to what they're saying. This is more important than anything right now, especially if you watch the news. When you watch the news, right, you want to tap, because the news is going to evoke an emotion in you all the time. And you don't want that to hang on to you. You want to just let it flow through you and not hang on to the emotion that's causing it. Let me say something about the news. I just want folks to come back here on here. The news these days there's people that just turn on the 24-hour news because they want to know what's going on, and that's all they will do is sit and listen to all the news that's going on. Well, then they get that emotion going into them, and that's how it's causing that stress. It's causing the anxiety. And so we need to start getting away from watching the news all the time. It's important to stay informed, but you don't have to do it 24 hours a day and listen to it. The news is fairly negative. I would say it's all negative. It's 100% negative. And the prescription drug companies have figured this out. That I want you to think about this is, as you're watching the news, who sponsors the news? At one point in time, I did my own survey, and one night at the 5:30 news, the national news, I flipped the channels during commercials, right? Okay, you get the remote. I counted 24 prescription drug company commercials between the three major networks in a half an hour. 24 prescription drug companies. Now, the prescription drug company is figured it out. Here's all the news, negative, 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 right? And oh, by the way, we can give you this little pill, or call your doctor for this little pill tomorrow, and you can see and feel better. So the prescription drug companies have figured this out, and so in that negativity of that news, they are advertising to you drugs to make you feel better. What you need to do is to start now changing your mindset of how you're going and what kind of talk that you're going to say. So you want to start saying, I am. I am statements are the most powerful statements that you can make. And so there's power poses. I'm not going to get into that. That'll be a different time. We can explain the power poses. But if you go to our website, bibuka.com, on our website are mirror affirmations that you can download and hang them up on your mirror. I am statements are the most important. So I'm going to be ending this, and I want you to scream out in your room the I am statements that are coming up onto your screen. I am abundant. I am happy. I am kind. I am loving. I am confident. I am patient. I am organized. I am healthy. I am grateful. I am disciplined. I am energized. I am creative. I am peaceful. I am hopeful. I am forgiving. I am passionate. I am safe. I am deserving. I am proud of me. I am statements as a declaration of who you are. Those are statements that you need to say all the time, because the greatest weapon we have against stress is our ability to choose one thought over another. Take a deep breath in. And exhale. Start managing your own stress. Be playful, get plenty of sleep, eat nutritiously, move your body, cultivate healthy relationships, and address your emotions. Don't hide them. Think about them. And use the techniques that you learned today to just sit, be quiet, and go through your I am statements, tap, use the emotional freedom technique, or just call us. We're here. This is a time from transition, and time for transition is truth and kindness. Build people up. When you help other people, you help yourself. Build them up. Help people become their potential, not what you think they can become. Help them become who they want to become and who they think they can become. But the biggest thing is to forgive. Forgive people, forgive yourself, and forgive others that have done you harm. Forgive yourself for allowing other people to come into your life if you need to. Forgive yourself, because you do deserve to be happy, you do deserve to be healthy, and you do deserve to be abundant. Abundant just doesn't mean you're rich. Abundant means you have an abundant life. That's what we're here for. That is how we help people manage their stress. We hope that this you've enjoyed this 90 minutes. We hope that you've gotten some new things out of it. Remember, whatever you do, learn something new. But if it's a good thing, learn it, practice it. If it helps you become a better person, if it helps you to become a better you tomorrow, practice it. Learn it, practice it. And then if it helps you, it'll help others. go teach it, because then those neurons will connect. You'll have that firing mechanism going on, and you will create a great environment where other people can then help and share in that joy. So we appreciate it all. We have had a good time. I hope this has worked for a lot of people in going on. Kim's read the chat. I haven't read the chat. And so sometimes when I got distracted, I was watching her reaction to the chat, laughing. It's going. So we'd be happy to take any questions. We'd be happy to open up. If you have a question, there is down in the Manage Participants section on there. If you open that up, you will see where it says raise your hand, and you can raise your hand, and if you do have a question, raise your hand and I can unmute you and you can talk to the group. So let's see, I'm going to unmute Laura. Laura has okay. Hi, Laura. All right, let's see. Whoop, unmute. There we go.
Oh, now I'm unmuted. Okay.
Yep, there we go. Hi, Laura.
Hi, Laura and Don.
Hi.
Good morning.
This was very helpful. Thank you so much.
Are you gonna?
Did you record
Yeah,
this?
here. There we go.
Okay, I'd like to send it to a friend.
Okay.
Frank, can you hear?
Now I can. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. We wanted to know if you recorded this so we could send it to somebody that it might help.
We did. I forgot to hit it right at the beginning. So we started the recording right as you were filling out your goal statement. I'm so happy and grateful that that's right where it started. So maybe I should stop. I'll